Welcome to
Theories
of the third kind.
Welcome to Theories of the Third Kind. My name is Aaron. I am joining you today alongside the other co-host, Daniel.
Hello.
No solo week.
Almost.
Almost. All right. Now, before we start today's episode, we do have a quick announcement to make.
If you would like to support the show, you can do so by joining our premium subscription service, Supercast. For just $6.66 a month, you can enjoy weekly premium audio episodes and access our extensive back catalog of over 220 premium audio episodes that are all ad-free.
Or if you are a big baller shot caller and you ride on 20-inch blades like little Troy,
then
you can sign up to our exclusive Elite membership for $9.99 on Supercast. And not only do you get the premium audio episodes, but you also get to see our faces. So you'll get the video versions of those as well. So you can sign up to this premium audio and video content by going to our website, theoriesofthethirdkind.com. Right there in the middle of the website, there's going to be a little button that says Supercast. You click on it, it'll take you over, and you can sign up.
Now, we know things are tough out there right now, so if you can't afford a membership, but you still want to help us out, you can do so by leaving us a written review on Spotify or iTunes.
That helps us out a lot.
However, don't feel pressure to leave us one. If you don't want to, then that's fine. We just want you guys, girls, aliens, reptilians, Bigfoot, Sasquatches, Chupacabras, ghosts, Illuminati members, underground lizard people, whoever or whatever you are to enjoy the show. Also, remember, why do I always forget this?
So you want me to say it? I can say it. Also, remember, all of our content, except for the graphics, every now and then, we kind of use a little bit of an AI program to help create the graphics to save us time. But besides that, the research, the writing, the editing, everything is all done by us, not AI. There you go.
A lot of time spent in front of the screen editing, looking at our own faces going, damn, I wish I could just delete the whole thing.
Yeah.
That happens a lot for me.
All right. So that right there is the end of the announcements. So let's get into today's topic, which is a Theories Thursday episode. And if you don't know what a Theories Thursday is, well, it's where Dan and I have each selected our own topics. We haven't told each other what they are. We independently research it, and then we come here and share our topics with one another and with you as well. And that's what a Theories Thursday is. The hardest part of a Theories Thursday is figuring out who goes first. And for that, we have a special dice. Dan, you want to stick it in your mouth?
No. I think that's all you, my friend.
I'm all jacked up on friggin', I don't know if y'all can tell, I'm all jacked up on anabolic steroids, testosterone, human growth hormones, apomorphine, CJC 130.
But mostly Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew as well. Fucking and clomiphene citrate. Yeah, I'm all juiced to the gills getting ready for that fucking wrestling camp.
He's gonna be beside Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry.
I believe in Aaron.
No. All right. So, odds or evens?
Odds.
All right. Let's see.
That's a 6.
6. Evens. I go first.
You go first.
You take
Unless
up
you want to do 2 out of 3. That's a 9. Oh, 1-1. Well, look at that. I should have kept my mouth shut.
Dan wins.
I win. Yay me.
All right. So, with that being said, Dan is going to go first this week and present his topic, and I will take up the rear. So, I see you have down here World War II magic. Oh, God. You know, a lot of our topics, well, at least our Theories Thursday and our premium, is about, well, it involves World War II and I. a lot of them. So this
Mm.
kind of works out perfectly. But I'm interested in hearing about your topic, Dan.
So my topic's not much of a conspiracy, but maybe is it true or is it false, made up? But it's a very interesting story of something that happened in World War II. I read it and I'm like, if this is true, this is hilarious. So, as I named it, it is World War II magic. And this is like all throughout history. Each country is always like competing against one another, trying to outdo, one up the other. Well, this pretty much goes along the lines of that, trying to outdo each other in the war. Now, we could say like how the government, some of my theories Thursday, where they had bats try to be dropped out of planes and wake up and like go and burn enemy camps and such,
Mm-hmm.
but end up burning our own camps.
Yeah, I remember
Using
that.
cats to spy on people.
Yeah, dolphins as sex slaves.
So that's probably why they're the way they are now.
Yeah,
Those little caves.
those exist.
They exist.
That's scary.
Now, this will involve Britain, and they had a different idea instead of like using animals and stuff. But first, let me tell you a little bit about a man named Jasper Maskelyne.
Okay.
Now, this Jasper was born in London in 1902 to a line of so-called magicians.
Oh, sick.
His grandfather was John Neville Maskelyne, and his father was Neville Maskelyne, both magicians.
Okay.
Now, Jasper learned about the world of magic at a very young age.
Magic the Gathering or magic like, hey, I'm going to make
Magic.
a card. Oh, okay. I'm going to make a card disappear. Like Chris Angel Mind Freak magic.
Chris Angel Mind Freak magic.
I
Oh,
can
yeah.
dig that.
Now, he learned from the both of them, his grandfather and father. And he also went to the magic workshop of the internationally renowned St. George's Halls in London, which I never heard of that.
I never heard of it either.
So I'm guessing that was real big back then. So Jasper definitely followed in their footsteps, obviously becoming a successful magician who was very well known for his sleight of hand and card and rope tricks, and especially his illusions. Now, he actually had a really famous trick that everyone was really amazed by. He would take razor blades and he would actually swallow them. Supposedly swallow them.
Okay.
And he would like pretty much take them back out and he would not have any injury whatsoever. So everyone was like, "Oh, that's so cool." So that was one of his famous tricks. Now, that became so popular, that razor blade trick, that they actually had him play in a movie in 1937 called The Famous Illusionist. So, I mean, he was pretty good, pretty successful. That being said, though, as World War II, started to ramp up, Jasper's shows started to kind of decline.
Yeah.
I think he ended up starting, like, they ended up making a family business of trying to sell suits. But, I mean, World War II, but still.
Where did he live again?
He lived in London, I believe.
Okay. All right. Shout out to my British.
Yeah. So,
Folks with you.
so yeah, the magic shows, people weren't showing up, suits weren't selling. I mean, it's World War II. Who's going to buy a suit during World War II?
Not many people.
Yeah. So financially, Jasper took a really big hit, especially his family. So the one thing he started thinking about was like, you know what? I'm going to join the war campaign. I know that I could be a real big asset to the British Army.
Is he going to go on the battlefield and be like, wait, watch this. Choose a card. Choose a card.
mean, that's kind of what he was trying to campaign with, is that, hey, let me join the British Army. Put me in the camouflage unit. My magic.
Camouflage unit. What?
It's like a camouflage engineer where they try to like make things to kind of like hide equipment.
Okay, yeah.
So he's like, put me in that unit. My magic could do so much for you.
Okay.
And of course, the British officers in the War Office, they're just looking at him. No. Pretty much they kept declining him over and over and over. He kept going back, though. He's like, let me tell you, man, my magic is the shit. Let me join the army. You won't be disappointed. They're like, no, not going to happen. Also, you're 37 years old. You're
Yo,
a little,
bitch.
you're a little old for us to want to recruit to, start training.
Yeah. We're almost there.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. We're almost 40. Oh, my God. Kill me.
Let's do it. Well, Jasper kept going back over and over and over. And they're just finally like, screw it. If you want to join the army so bad, fine. Pack up your shit. We're sending you off.
They gave in.
They gave in. They had him pack his things and they sent his ass off to the Camouflage Development and Training Center at Farm Castle. And that's like in the southeast United Kingdom.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times.
It's very nice, ain't it?
I missed it.
Now, as Jasper arrived there, he believed they were going to put his magical skills, his
To use.
sleight of hand, illusions, and all that to use. But no. They did not care for that. He went through the normal training like any other soldier would. But yet, Jasper kept going up to his superiors like, hey,
You're not utilizing my potential.
that's exactly what he was saying. He was just like, my magic skills can be such an asset, but you're not utilizing it.
Hmm.
So they're just looking at him. They just laugh again. They're just like, you're a soldier. You're a trainee. Go do.
Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah. To the military, Jasper wasn't really a soldier to them. He was more of an entertainer.
Hmm.
He was there just to entertain the actual soldiers in training.
Really?
Yeah, they pretty much had him there just to entertain, do his
like
little card tricks and shit.
Like a jester.
Yeah. Now, luckily for Jasper, though, he would still have his chance. He could impress the Inspector General, who was going to arrive at Farm Castle that next day. So he's just like, you know what? I'm going to do like my very best tricks that I can do to impress this Inspector General. And he's going to be like, oh man, your magic tricks are the best. We could use those in this war. So I kept reading on about this. And then I'm just like, this can't be true. But hey, the story goes on. He ends up doing this trick to where he actually hides a machine gun bunker to where no one could see it in plain sight. Like, it could not be seen. And I'm thinking, okay, machine gun, that's not bad. No, not just the machine gun.
The bunker
The
itself.
whole bunker itself, he made disappear. And he was just like, they were just like, okay, that's pretty cool. Come to find out, he used a bunch of mirrors and let's see. Yeah, he used a bunch of mirrors. Then his next trick that he really wanted to impress the Inspector General, he actually created an illusion of a German warship on the Thames River using nothing but mirrors and a model. Which, that's actually pretty impressive.
That is, yeah, that is.
And that is supposedly what actually impressed the Inspector General. And the Inspector General was like, whoa, that's so cool. We could possibly use that. Guess what?
And he's like, I've been telling you this all the time, the whole time, guys.
Yeah, and he's like, so the Inspector General was like, you know what? Pack up your things. You're going on your first tour.
We're sending you straight to the front lines.
Sending him straight to the front lines.
Damn. Fuck. Okay.
Now, this is Jasper's time. He's like, I'm finally going to the front lines. I'm finally going to get to use my magic to prove that it's an asset to the war. Nope, they actually sent him there to entertain the soldiers again. They're just like, they didn't take him seriously. They're just like, oh, he's good at illusions and stuff. We're just going to send him there to entertain the soldiers who are actually fighting in the war. Give them something, to laugh about and all that. So, I mean, granted, he was helping out in the war, just not the way he wanted it to be.
Mm.
But, of course, obviously, he kept begging the higher-ups, like, hey, come on, man. Like, my illusions, they got me here to the front lines. I'm telling you, I can do something. I can help out. Well, it wasn't until January of 1941, Jasper was able to make a deal with the General Archibald Wavell, however you say his name, that if he performed for his troops, the general's troops, that the general would have to create the camouflage experimental section.
Didn't they already have that?
They had the unit, but this was the experimental to try out new things.
Okay.
This would be part of the MI9 espionage unit, A-Force. This was a test to see how Jasper would do if they just gave him freedom to do whatever the hell he wanted. So he did it. He entertained the soldiers. They created the little unit for him. And that's where Jasper was able to go and, I guess, find and recruit his team. He interviewed hundreds of people.
Are we talking civilians or are we talking military?
Military.
Okay.
He ending up with 14 assistants.
That's a lot of assistants. Jesus.
They consisted of an architect, art restorer, carpenter, chemist, electrical engineer, electrician, painter, stage set builders, pretty much people with a lot of unique skills.
Okay.
This elite group of Jaspers, the war magicians, ended up getting a special name.
What is it?
The Magic Gang.
Oh, God.
So bad. So bad.
I mean, it's not horrible, but it could be better.
I mean, people called them war magicians. I'm like, why didn't you just call yourself
war magicians?
Like that right there sounds elite.
They need to make a Magic the Gathering card called the War Magician.
Yeah, but no. They decided on the name Magic Gang.
Magic Gang. Gang, gang, bitch.
Gang, gang, magic.
Fireball.
Birdie. Pew. But yeah. Now, what this Magic Gang mostly did, since they had nothing else much to really do, they would create little devices and such that would help soldiers out, like on the field. Say, if one got lost on the battlefield or whatever, playing cards actually had maps built onto them to where they could like peel them, and they had maps.
That's smart.
Yeah. Then buttons on their uniforms.
Buttons on the uniform?
Yeah, they would have buttons on their uniforms that actually popped open and would be little compasses. That's
smart.
Yeah. Then like they would have other devices like, I don't know why a random soldier would have a cricket bat. But
to beat the fuck out of somebody with?
But it had tools in it.
Okay.
Then switchblade combs.
Ooh.
That's smart.
Mm-hmm.
Then let's see, what else did they have here? Exploding coal. So if you wanted to blow someone up with some coal. And then the one that made me start laughing, booby-trapped animal dung.
Huh. Okay.
I'm guessing that was the very first flaming bag of dog shit trap.
Yeah.
That's all I can really think about when I hear
Technically.
That.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what this Magic Gang consisted of doing most of the time. Because they didn't actually get put on the battlefield or anything. They just sat there creating all these different things that could help soldiers. Which supposedly this is true. Like they did help create stuff like this. Now, Jasper would also train some of the soldiers in like sleight of hand tricks. That way it helps them on the battlefield. I guess when they're fighting hand to hand or something, trick the enemy. Ha, nice over here. Not, something like that.
Yeah. I was thinking more so of a slap, but yeah, a knife to like the side of the neck or something.
I mean, if you're fighting for your life.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But yeah, he would teach them in the ways of sleight of hands to trick the enemies. But as the war intensified, the Magic Gang actually got a chance to be more of use. One of their first successful illusions is when they created a sun shield that consisted of painted canvas stretched over half a tank to disguise it. Pretty much they took like canvas and they built a sun shield, which was supposed to protect it, but instead of it just looking like a normal sun shield, they made it look like a truck, which I do have a picture. So pretty much they made it so when you closed it up over the tank, from above, it would look like a truck.
So it wouldn't get bombed?
They wouldn't think that it was a tank. They would just think, oh, it's a supply truck and whatever.
That's smart.
Smart.
They could have just put mirrors on the top of it.
They could have done that.
Yeah, be a lot easier.
Yeah, but I think this was, since they did that to a bunch of tanks, I guess it was cheaper possibly.
Yeah, true.
Now, of course, when the Renaissance
Festival in Waxahachie, Texas in May of 2025.
I think there's another one very soon, I think, in October.
Probably.
It's like Dragon Forge something.
What?
I just saw an ad for it.
Dragon Forge. What is that here in Austin?
No, it's like it's in
Waxahachie?
yeah, because it looked like the same area.
October is usually the time when they convert it to like a scary festival
Oh,
thingy.
it could be that. So it could be some other time. But yeah, you can go there and like forge your own warhammer. They have like a new machine there that does the burning, and they have like the mallet thing.
It's too much work.
Yeah, I don't want to do all that.
Go there and have somebody forge it for me.
Yeah. But moving on. So when a reconnaissance plane flew over the tank was completely invisible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looked like a truck. This proved to the higher-ups that it may be possible to use this type of magic or illusion on the battlefield. And they could use it on a larger scale. So the Magic Gang finally got their opportunity to use it in like a big mission. It was around the same time that the German bombers had been bombing the hell out of an important supply point at Alexandria Harbor in the Middle East. So believe it's like in Egypt.
Okay.
None of their defenses were helping with fighting off the bombers, so the War Office was desperate to try anything at this point. And of course, you had Jasper, pretty much this little bug in your ear over here. Let me do it, boss. Put me in, coach. Put me in, coach. I'm ready.
Got games? Got any games?
Got any games? So they're just like, you know what? Screw it. We don't have anything else. Do we believe that they'll succeed? Probably not, but hell, why not? Let's see what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
So they decide to send the Magic Gang to Alexandria Harbor, and they decided to let them have free reign to see what they could do.
Okay. We're letting the Magic Gang take over.
What ended up happening was the Magic Gang and Jasper got there, and they started to survey and measure the harbor. They got measurements, they figured out what was all there, and they decided, you know what we'll do? We'll move further away to a different area, and we'll build a separate harbor. But we'll build it out of like cardboard and mud. So when you look from it above, it actually looks like the harbor. But it's all it is just cardboard and mud. But to make it look real, we'll add some flashing lights, some smoke, and all this such, and we'll throw in like some explosions. So when German bombers fly over, they'll think that there's a battle going on at this harbor, and they'll be more inclined to go over to this harbor and bombing it. So they got a bunch of the other like soldiers and stuff at the harbor. They had them all go over to this area, start building this fake harbor. And then they covered up everything and cut off all the lights at the Alexandria Harbor. And they waited to see what would happen. For 3 consecutive nights, this worked. They all flew over to the fake harbor and they bombed the shit out of it, leaving the Alexandria Harbor untouched.
Wow.
So they're just like, holy shit, we didn't think that'd work. There you got Jasper there. I told you, my magic's, amazing, man.
Mind freak.
And they actually supposedly promoted him from this.
Oh.
After that mission, the Magic Gang was then sent off for another assignment at the Suez Canal in Egypt.
Okay.
Here, the Magic Gang would rig up 24 searchlights to form a chain along the canal to where when they were turned on, these lights would be pretty much blinding and they shine up to 100 miles into the air, which I don't know about 100 miles.
Jesus.
But with them shining that bright, any German bombers that were bombing the canal would be blinded. And in some cases, from some accounts, that some of those German bombers would actually crash the planes because they couldn't see.
Wow.
Which I don't know how true that is. But they're just like, oh, another success with magic. This is great. Jasper's Magic Gang is doing great work. So they decided that after this successful mission, they were now sent back to North Africa for another assignment. And this one would involve Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, aka the Desert Fox.
Mm-hmm.
The one, worked for Hitler. Now, Rommel was taking over large areas of North Africa, and the British did not like that he was, progressing through North Africa, taking over stuff with ease. Now, Rommel did get stopped somewhat at, El Alamein. And the British was able to build like a defensive line there, hold them off. And they're just like, you know what? Send the magic gang there. Let's see if we could do something to push them back and start taking back territory. So, of course, Jasper and the magic gang were sent there, and they're just like, what are we going to do? We want to attack I think the general at the time was Montgomery, because they had another general. He backed out. Then they assigned another general to this area, and he died in like a plane crash.
He's like, fuck this, I'm not going there.
So the next general that was assigned was Montgomery. And he's just like, all right, all of our soldiers and stuff can attack from the north. They know that. How can we make it seem like we're going to attack from the south as a diversion? So, of course, Jasper and the magic gang was just like, you know what? Give us some time, we'll figure out a plan. Their plan was to pretty much create an entire different army in the South. They would be made out of canvas and painted plywood. And supposedly in Jasper's words himself, and he quotes, dummy men, dummy steel helmets, dummy guns by the 10,000s, dummy tanks, dummy shell flashes by the million, and dummy aircrafts. I don't know about the aircrafts, but pretty much they were going to build an entire army down there.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It was a lot of work. They took British trucks and made them look like tanks. So pretty much they probably used the sun shields and made it look like a tank from above. Then they used cardboard and mud to create pieces of war equipment again. Then they added flashing lights and more smoke and some explosives to make it look like, oh, look, their entire army's over there being attacked. This is where they're attacking from. Our soldiers must be, stopping them here.
Mm-hmm.
The end result is that it worked. The Germans were occupied with what was going down in the South. Montgomery's soldiers and stuff came from the north and just pushed them out of El Alamein.
Mm-hmm.
And they started taking back land. And I'm thinking, this is starting to sound kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if my dad was here, he was very knowledgeable about all the world wars and such. He loved history. I could have asked him, but had to look it up myself to see if this kind of actually happened, which I started reading up on the Battle of El Alamein. And there was a part of that battle that kind of fits in with this.
Mm-hmm.
Montgomery was in command at the time, and during his offensive attack against the Germans, he had set up a diversionary attack from the south that consisted of the Free French troops. So there was a diversion that was going on in the south that allowed him to push from the north. Whether it was Jasper and the Magic Gang, or was it these Free French troops? It's a little unclear. I'm just thinking, it fits in. So whether it's true or not, we don't know. So anyway, after this successful mission, the Magic Gang was unfortunately disbanded.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
You figured they'd get promoted again.
You figured they'd get promoted again if this stuff was actually happening and was working. But the rest of Jasper's military life, ended pretty much. He kind of, I guess, went back to entertaining some for a while, and then they say some say that he got recruited into another top secret outfit.
Yeah.
But he didn't stay in the army for long. They don't know much about what happened after the war. He traveled around the world to 16 other countries doing magic tricks.
Sound like he was recruited to like an intelligence thing. And they send him around the place. Hey, you're going to be going doing all these magic tricks for people. We need you to gather up intel while you're there.
That could be it. Because then Jasper would then publish a book called Magic, Top Secret in 1949, covering various adventures and exploits during the war. Then he would settle down in Kenya in 1950, where he would open and operate a driving school and also manage the Kenya National Theater until he passed away in 1973.
He lived a long life.
He did live a long life. And some people are saying that they knew him after the war, and he's like, he was pretty much a bitter drunk, and he always talked shit about the military.
So they screwed him over.
Yeah, because they never gave him the recognition that he deserved.
Yeah.
And then all of this actually came to light when a book called The War Magician that was written in 1983 by David Fisher. Pretty much he made an autobiography about Jasper Maskelyne. So all this came out, which a lot of top researchers and some top magicians, they're just like, yeah, all of this is exaggerated. Jasper never did any of this. He was never that good of a magician. Pretty much magician versus magician. I'm a better magician. I'm a better illusionist type shit. But as I read on about it, it was saying after many years, top researchers, they finally come to the conclusion that most of this is probably not true. I'm like,
what?
Probably? It's like, so y'all don't know if it's true or not, but your conclusion is that it's probably not true.
It's like, why even say anything at that point? Is it probably, maybe not? We don't know.
Yeah,
and like just don't even say anything. You know, be like, we don't know.
And I'm thinking, why don't they just check the records? Yeah. Well, supposedly some of the war records is public, but it doesn't really tell much because the Magic Gang was supposedly a secret, like part of the MI9 espionage group. So they weren't really talked about much.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the British Official Secret Acts. So this actually protects all that information until the year 2046.
God damn.
Yeah, so we still got, another 22 years before that information's actually released?
We'll cover that episode in 22 years.
I will definitely do it, because I honestly want to know.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, no one really knows if the Magic Gang was real or not, unless, I'm guessing...
There are some, like, supporting... Like you were saying, like some of the reports kind of back up what the claims that Maskelyne was making.
Yeah, and like Maskelyne, some people say that they just used his last name to help create some of these like devices and stuff to help the soldiers and all that. And then, of course, like he did help create some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Battle of El Alamein, there were diversions and such, but doesn't say what type of diversions. Just say like, oh, is this group down here that did something? So it's like there is stuff that, collaborates it, but most of this information, even like in Fisher's book, The War Magician, all comes from Jasper Maskelyne's memoir.
Okay.
The Top Magician, Top Magic, Secret Magic, whatever it was called.
Mm.
So a lot of it came from him. But this story's supposedly so popular over there.
Well, over there in London.
Yeah, even though a lot of people say it's fake, they're making a movie about it.
Really?
They are making a movie about it.
What's it called?
It is called...
Please say The War Magician.
War Magician.
Okay.
So it was supposed to be in development in 2014, but then when people were just like, oh, it's all fake and all that, it's probably not true.
They put it on pause.
But in 2021, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, cool. Doctor Strange.
He signed to play as Jasper Maskelyne.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm waiting for that to come out to watch that. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
It's actually going to focus on the Battle of El Alamein with Jasper facing off with Rommel. That's going to
be cool.
That's going to be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty much it. Only thing we can't say that it's true or not until the records in 2046 come out, unless they pass something to make it come out even more.
Yeah, 22 years.
But I was reading up, I'm just like, this is so interesting that if something like this actually happened in World War II that made such a big difference, that's amazing.
Absolutely.
But the fact that they all kept it kind of hush and Jasper kind of got screwed over with recognition, because, the group wasn't not real, not supposed to be known about. So obviously they're not going to give him the recognition he deserves, probably. But
well, only time will tell, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your excellent topic this week. I enjoyed it. It was really good.
I know it's not a conspiracy or anything like that, but if anybody has any family that was in World War II in the Cairo, Egypt area or El Alamein, Alexandria Harbor, if they know Jasper Maskelyne or have seen him, let us know. I want to know
if he's your grandfather.
I want to know if this shit was true. This is a mystery to me, and I love it. I want more stuff like this.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you for your Theories Thursday topic, Dan.
You're welcome.
I enjoyed it. And it goes along with my Theories Thursday topic and the premium episode we did today.
I saw the premium on that. I didn't even think about them fitting in together. I was looking for something interesting.
Yeah, all of them connect.
So I like it. Love it.
Yep. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Now, I know that our schedule has been extremely busy. There's a lot of things going on in our life right now, but there are a few things that I have prioritized here lately. And one of those would be my muscles. I'm getting fucking jacked, dog. I'm getting jacked. Working out and my mental health and my sleep. Those are prioritized.
Those are good things to prioritize. Those are good non-negotiables right there.
And with my mental health being prioritized, you want to take a guess at how I prioritize it with what I do?
Therapy.
Exactly. Therapy with BetterHelp. I used to go twice a week, and then I jumped it up to 3 times a week. And now I'm doing 5 times a week. Ballin'. Mental health.
Everyday
depression.
Everyday depression.
So therapy has helped me immensely. Going to BetterHelp has helped me tremendously.
Those are things that you should never skip out on. Mental health, working on yourself, and getting some good sleep.
Yes, those 3 things. Prioritize them.
So even though those are 3 things you prioritize, sometimes it's hard to make time for it.
BetterHelp makes it easy.
That's right.
It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to whatever schedule you have. It's all online. Super easy.
So all you have to do is go on, sign up, take a short survey, and boom, a therapist is assigned to you.
Yeah, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional costs.
That's right. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try.
Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp.
Visit BetterHelp.com/theories today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/theories. All right. So you cool with me going on with mine?
Yep, I am done with mine.
All right. So like I said, Dan's topic and my topic this week for Theories Thursday, it kind of aligns with our premium topic, which is over the Edgewood Arsenal human experiments. And,
those are.
Yeah, I figured I would cover something similar, and Dan did the same in World War II time frame, right?
Didn't even think about it. It just happened.
Yep. So I began my journey for a topic by looking through previously classified records for any type of similar experiments throughout history. I wasn't just targeting World War II. I was targeting just any time frame. And, originally I thought I had read everything involving human experimentations, not only in the United States, but the entire world, because I dove deep into it whenever we covered human experimentations a long time ago. Yeah. However, I stumbled upon something that I have never heard of before. And that is what my Theories Thursday topic is over. Mind-controlled technology. Technology that I never even knew existed. Yes. And we've read over multiple weird technologies.
We read a lot of human experimentations, a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah. Well, we're going to jump right back into it.
Hell yeah.
All right. Now, before we jump into the mind-controlled technology part, we first need to discuss 2 things real quick. We need to talk about the CIA, and we need to talk about World War II. So the first thing we're going to go over is the CIA. And I am sure almost all of you already know this, but for decades, the CIA has secretly been working behind the scenes on college campuses, in hospitals, and even in prisons, secretly. And they've been funding them as well. Now, what type of work has the CIA been doing on these college campuses, in hospitals, and prisons? Well, they have been secretly experimenting on individuals there, testing out truth serums, erasing one's memory, hypnotic resistance to torture, meaning that they would put them under like hypnosis and then torture them.
Oh.
Yeah. Post-hypnotic suggestions, electronic stimulation of the brain, and a lot of other disturbing technologies / techniques that they used. Now, majority of these projects or experiments that were being conducted by the CIA were classified and codenamed under certain projects, such as Artichoke, Bluebird, Pandora, MK Delta, MK Search, and the most famous one of them all, Project MK Ultra, which we've previously done an episode over. So like I said, the CIA was out there doing all these secret experiments on people. However, they were not the only government agency involved in these experiments. Many other branches of the U.S. government took part as well, such as NASA, the Atomic Energy Commission, and all of the branches of the Defense Department.
NASA?
NASA. Now, do you know how big the Defense Department is?
It's pretty big.
It's really big. I ended up looking it up, and I have like a little sheet. So at the top of the list is the President of the United States, right?
Yeah.
You got the Defense Department, which is ran by the Secretary of Defense, who reports straight to the President. Under the Secretary of Defense, you have 3 military departments: Department of Army, Navy, and Air Force. Underneath those, you have 4 national intelligence services: DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency; NSA, National Security Agency; NGA, National Geospatial Intelligence Agency; NRO, National Reconnaissance Office. Underneath that, you have other defense agencies: DARPA, then you have DLA, which is Defense Logistics Agency; MDA, Missile Defense Agency; DHA, Defense Health Agency; DTRA, Defense Threat Reduction Agency; DCSA, Defense Counterintelligence and Security Agency; SDA, Space Development Agency; and PFPA, Pentagon Force Protection Agency. All of those agencies are all underneath the Defense Department. And all of those took part, along with the CIA, NASA, and the Atomic Energy Commission, in doing these secret experiments on people. And when I say people, I'm talking normal civilians without their knowledge.
Damn.
All right. So now that we have that part covered, let's jump into World War II real quick. So World War II, I'm going to give a quick history lesson. It started in 1939 and it lasted 6 years, ending in 1945. During this war, you have Germany, Italy, and Japan. They teamed up. On the other side, you have France, Great Britain, and the United States, and the Soviet Union, and a little bit of China. And they were beefing. Those two teams were beefing with each other. Now, I'm not going to go into the details as to why they were beefing or what happened during World War II. That's just like the summary of it. However, what I will say about World War II is that it is the largest war in history, and around 40 to 50 million people died because of it. A lot of deaths, a lot of destruction, a lot of bad shit. War, what is it good for?
Absolutely nothing.
Say it again now. Now, another thing you need to know about World War II is that it was the first war in which the human brain became a field of battle. Countries that were beefing with one another began experimenting with chemicals, trying to create a truth serum, whichever. They wanted to give this potion to prisoners of war to extract top secret information from them. Now, back then, the CIA wasn't around during World War II. Instead, it was called the OSS. So the OSS was run by General William Donovan, a.k.a. Wild Bill. Wild Bill heard the rumors about this truth potion being made by, Germany and all these other countries. And he was like, fuck, you know what? Maybe we should start doing the same thing. So he gathered up a bunch of fucking smart people. He's like, oh, you smart people, come inside here. Gathered up a team of smart people, kind of like the Wizard Gang, but these were the Big Brain Gang.
Big Brain Gang versus the Magic Gang.
Yeah. He told this team that he wanted them to find ways to modify human perception and behavior through chemical means. Basically, I want to be able to control somebody by just giving them something or making them feel a certain way or turning a device on and it changes the way they act. I want you to figure that out.
Love potion number 9.
Yeah. So this team began taking random individuals and involving them in experiments. They first started taking like peyote, barbiturates, mescaline, and marijuana, and would force these individuals to take them. And then under the influence, they would see if they could modify their behavior. Now, at this same exact time that the United States was doing this, I mean, the exact same time, you had Nazi chemical warfare specialists and Nazi doctors who were stationed at concentration camps. They were experimenting with mescaline as a means of eliminating the victim's will to resist. So they were pretty much doing the same thing at the same exact time.
So crazy that the magician's name was Jasper Maskelyne.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So after World War II, a number of these Nazi chemical warfare specialists ended up working for America's secret services, CIA, FBI, blah, 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 blah.
Operation Paperclip?
Paperclip, yep. For example, you had Karl Tuebeck, who was a Nazi, and I don't know if I pronounced his last name right or wrong. I don't know. It's not like he's going to come back from the dead and tell me I mispronounced it. So,
true.
Anyway, this Karl guy, Karl, he was recruited by the CIA due to his attempts at trying to find a truth potion but failing. Another example is Frederick Hoffman. He was also a Nazi who discovered a paralysis-inducing venom from a seashell. Yeah. Frederick was brought over after World War II and hired by the United States government. Now, these two guys, Karl and Frederick, they were not the only two individuals. There were hundreds, if not thousands, of these Nazis that were brought over, and they began running programs for the United States government who pretty much disregarded their blood-stained resumes. You like that? Yeah, it's the truth.
It is the truth.
Operation Paperclip. So shortly after that, in 1950, the newly formed CIA, not the OSS anymore, it's now the CIA, they began Project Bluebird. And then they were like, that's a shitty name. We're going to rename it to Project Artichoke 1 year later, which is even worse. Yeah. Now, the primary goal of this project was to determine whether a person could be involuntarily made to perform an act of attempted assassination. The project also studied the effects of hypnosis, forced addiction to morphine and the withdrawal from it, and other chemicals, including LSD. And they did this to produce a state of kind of like vulnerability in the subjects and then see if they could, crack the mind and get them to do what they want. 2 years later, in 1953, Project Artichoke was renamed to the famous Project MKUltra, or Operation MKUltra. It goes by both.
Yeah.
Now, there were a ton of other projects under this umbrella of MKUltra that we previously talked about, and these other projects and operations had various different studies and experiments. But I'm going to kind of give like an overview of what was studied exactly.
Okay.
Everything was. That's the overview. They fucking studied everything. And I'm not exaggerating either. I mean, hypnosis, conditioning, sensory deprivation, drugs, religious cults, microwaves, psychosurgery, brain implants, and even ESP. That's just the tip.
Psychosurgery?
Yeah, that's just the tip. Of course, these projects, including MKUltra, were all classified for quite a while until they were leaked to the public in 1970. A lot of the information was lost about the experiments because a lot of the individuals involved in it ended up destroying all the paperwork that was part of MKUltra. But I think, if I recall correctly, there was one batch of paperwork that was taken to some like farm building, and all the rest of the paperwork was destroyed. And whenever someone did a Freedom of Information Act or something like that, they discovered these records that the government didn't get rid of. And they're like, oh, here it is. Here's the proof. And the government and CIA and everybody had to confess. They're like, oh, we're sorry. Yeah. Anyway,
Hmm.
don't quote me on that. Go re-listen to the MK Ultra episode. Get your facts there. It's been a while since we covered that.
It's been a while.
Yeah, probably like 2 or 3 years, maybe more.
MK Ultra.
Yeah. All right. Now, like I said, a lot of the information was lost about the experiments, not just from MK Ultra, but like the umbrella of everything underneath it. However, over the years, a lot of people have come forward and helped expose what these top secret projects have previously done. However, when you look into it, there is a mystery that still surrounds a specific technology that was used during that period. It was called psychoelectronics. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Neither have I. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Sounds like something off Borderlands.
That's the first thing that come to mind is the psychos and then electronics.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what it is. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. I did all that lead up to prep you. Now you're all knowledgeable about everything.
I'm smart.
Look at that.
Knowledge.
So now we're going to talk about psychoelectronics, which is one of the technologies that the government used for mind control. However, not many people talk about it. I've dug and dug and dug for years, and I've never heard about it until the other day.
Yeah, I've never heard of that at all.
So the first piece of technology that we're going to talk about is the stimoceiver. Stimoceiver.
Stim pack?
What it sounds like, huh? So in the late 1950s, a neuroscientist named Jose Delgado, he ended up developing this stimoceiver. This device was a miniature depth electrode, which could receive and transmit electronic signals over FM radio waves. Now, what Jose discovered is that whenever you place this stimo receiver, whatever the hell it is, this little device, inside of animals or even a human being's brain, in a certain spot of the brain, and you send it signals and have it transmit signals back, you were able to gain somewhat control over that individual. Also, you can make the person or animal, whoever has it, feel certain emotions such as rage, fatigue, or even lust. What does this sound like? Neuralink.
Yeah.
Well, it gets better. So during this time, when Jose claimed this in the 1950s that he had this technology, a lot of people were skeptical. They're like, it's bullshit. You don't have it. Jose was like, okay, well, watch this.
Oh, gosh.
So he wired up a bull with this device, like a raging bull, like a big ass bull with horns. He then took the bull and went into the Madrid bull ring entirely unprotected with just a little black box on him. He walked into the middle of the ring and had them release the bull. And he stood there and the bull went charging towards him. And right before the bull got to him, he clicked the button, sent the signal, the bull, boom, stopped in its tracks. Didn't move. And he was like, look at me now, guys. Huh? What do you got to say?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So like I previously stated, Jose could do this to not only bulls and other animals, but he claimed he could do it to humans as well. He could control humans with this device. For example, Jose wrote, and I quote, radio stimulation of different points in the brain on the 4 patients produced a variety of effects, including pleasant sensations, deep, thoughtful concentration, odd feelings, and super relaxation. Doesn't sound too bad.
I mean, it doesn't sound too bad.
Install that shit in my head.
Anxiety, boop,
Gone.
click a button, gone.
Yeah. So eventually, a few years later, in 1966, Jose ended up speaking at a public event. And during this speech, Jose stated that his experiments support the distasteful conclusion that motion, emotion, and human behavior can all be controlled and directed by electrical forces and that humans can be controlled like robots by simply pressing buttons.
Mm.
Also, during that speech, Jose prophesied that in the future, brain control could be turned over to non-human operators by establishing two-way radio communication between the implanted brain and the controller, meaning that anybody could control it. When he said non-human, he was talking about a computer, but I mean, imagine if Elon Musk is like a undercover alien and this is his plan to install Neuralink and then he can control all the humans.
Have you seen the movie Atlas on Netflix yet?
No.
You should watch that.
Was this is this what it's over?
So they end up having like AI robots and stuff like that. And I guess if you connect to one of the AIs in a certain way and gives it access, they can gain all the knowledge that you have from your brain. And
That's scary.
it is scary. And it actually allowed the one AI to break free of all like the rules and
Bounds.
stuff and pretty much cause like a big ass war to start.
Oh, fuck.
It's an interesting movie.
That sucks.
Yeah. AI. It's always AI.
All right. So that was Jose. Okay. And he wasn't the only individual during that time period who was experimenting with brain control devices, whatever it was called.
Psychoelectronics.
Psychoelectronics. There was another individual named Robert G. Heath of Tulane University.
The Heath bars?
I've never had one of those. Have you had one of those?
I don't think I have. I've seen them, but I don't know what they are.
So Robert took a device similar to Jose's and implanted as many as 125 electrodes into the brain of individuals. He would then activate the electrodes and monitor the patients. Robert discovered that he could control his patient's memory, induce sexual arousal, fear, pleasure, and hallucinations. And this is where Robert gets weird with it, okay? And this is Robert here. This is not me saying this. This is what Robert said. Due to this discovery of him being like, okay, I can control all this in an individual, Robert decided to move forward and try to use electronic stimulation of the brain as a way to, and I quote, cure homosexuality. Of course, that didn't work out for him. So that was Robert. Now, another individual that I want to talk about is Ralph Schwitzengabel.
Perfect.
Thank you. And his brother, Robert. So Ralph and Robert S. Both of them produced a collection of devices that are able to track individuals over long ranges. This is back in the 50s. This is kind of like a
GPS?
Find My iPhone.
Oh.
But
AirTags.
yeah. Now, these devices could be used for tracking all the physical and neurological signs of a patient within a quarter of a mile. They could tell their neurological signs and what was going on in their brain and where they were at. Yeah. However, there was an issue. Where these people lived that were being tracked with this technology, this area didn't have good enough radio receivers to allow the individual to be tracked over extended long distances. So Ralph decided to propose the idea to mount radio receivers on utility poles throughout the city, which provided the city with 24-hour monitoring capabilities of that individual they were tracking. So they ended up mounting on all the utility poles radio receivers, and these radio receivers bounced off wherever the pretty much cell phone towers nowadays. And it would bounce off of it and relay that information back to the main person who was tracking that individual. So they could keep track 24/7 of the person that they were tracking's neurological signs and where they were at. This was in the 50s. Now, as bad as all of those technologies sound, it has nothing on what our next individual, Joseph A. Meyer, did. So Joseph worked for the NSA, National Security. Now, Joseph worked for the NSA, National Security Agency. He ended up proposing the idea of implanting roughly half of all Americans arrested with trackers and controllers in their brain. Joseph called the inmates that were implanted subscribers. I swear to God, that's what he called them. We're going to have these subscribers. So according to Joseph, these subscribers could be monitored 24/7 by a computer. The same thing that Robert and Ralph were doing, but he wanted to implant half of the prison population. Now, someone did come forward and decided to ask Joseph, is this unethical? They didn't say that. They should have said that. They didn't. Instead, they said, who is going to pay for this mass implantation? We can't pay for that. Joseph said, well, the taxpayer could pay the cost. And in return, the state could save money since the implants are cheaper and more efficient than the police, and you can just get rid of the police. So he wanted to control everyone that was arrested with the implants. And then he states that pretty much wire up a computer to monitor all of these individuals. And if the neurological signs lean towards a certain way of negative, have it send an electronic signal to that person to change it.
That's cool and all about all the ones that have already got the implants, but what about future criminals and like?
He states there's not going to be any future criminals now, which doesn't make sense to me.
Was this like Minority Report?
I guess you're gonna have those 3 women laying in that thing and they're blind and they're like, oh, Tom Cruise is gonna
2 guys and 1 girl.
Oh, my bad. I keep thinking it was just 3. I did that before when we talked about it. It's just 3 girls, but 2 guys or 3 guys, 3 girls, 2 guys.
I think it's total
5.
I can't remember now. I know.
Fuck it. Minority Report.
I know it was like only 1 girl. The rest were guys.
Great book, by the way. Written, or the book, the movie's based off of a book wrote by Philip K. Dick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was Joseph. And there's one more thing that I discovered. One more thing. And it was in these newly declassified documents. There was a technology called RHIC-EDOM. Radio Hypnotic Intercerebral Control and Electronic Dissolution of Memory.
Brain wipe?
Yep. So in the declassified documents, it states that the CIA has mastered this technology of RHIC-EDOM. They can remotely induce hypnotic trances, deliver suggestions to the subject, and erase all of one's memory. According to the document, RHIC, which is the first part of it, uses a micro-miniaturized offspring of the STEMO receiver technology that Jose created. So it's even smaller, like super, super small. The next technology also blocks synapses. So the EDOM, which is the next part. So you have the receiver, RHIC, which is the very, very, very small one. And then you have the EDOM, which is electronic dissolution of memory. It's the same thing as this one, smaller one. But the purpose of this one, it blocks synapses through certain pathways in the brain, which pretty much makes it to where you can't retain memories, and then it can wipe all your memory. That's according to this declassified document.
Shit.
And I was skeptical at first. I was like, man, maybe this is just some bullshit, So I started looking at to see where else has this been mentioned, or is it just mentioned in this document? And I found a 1969 book titled We Were Controlled, and it was written by Lincoln Lawrence, who was a former FBI agent that turned into a journalist. In this book, Lincoln describes this RHIC technology in action. He said, and I quote, "It is the ultra sophisticated application of post-hypnotic suggestions triggered at will by radio transmission. It is a reoccurring state, reinduced automatically at intervals by the same radio control. An individual is brought under hypnosis. This can be done either with his or her knowledge, or without it, by the use of narco-hypnosis, which can be brought into play under many different ways. This individual is then programmed to perform certain actions and maintain certain attitudes depending on what the controller of the radio receiver is sending, like what signals, end quote. So he pretty much verifies it.
Yeah.
So throughout the years, many other individuals have come forward claiming that the CIA and the United States government has this technology. For example, in the 1975 issue of a periodical called Modern People, a journalist named James Moore claimed to have secured a 350-page manual that was prepared in 1963 that was over RHIC EDOM. And he states that medically, those radio signals are directed to certain parts of the brain, and it makes it to where they can change your vision, hearing, emotions. They can do anything. They can control you. And that's pretty much what he said, pretty much verifying it in that periodical.
Oh.
And that right there is the RHIC EDOM technology. And there was actually a hearing to wrap this up. There was a hearing that occurred in 1977 where the CIA was questioned about these psychoelectronics. It's the only time in history they were questioned. The only time on record they said anything besides a declassified document. During this hearing,
oh gosh,
Senator Richard Schweiker told Dr. Sidney Schweiker that he had heard testimony that radar, aka microwaves, have been used to wipe out the memory of animals. The doctor, who was part of the CIA in studying this stuff and developing these technologies, he responded with, "I can believe that, Senator." And that's it. The senator moved on with his questioning. And it was never mentioned again. So if you or a loved one is currently being mind controlled by mind control technologies, or if you're having mind control technologies used against you, please send us an email to Dan, D-A-N, at theoriesofthethirdkind.com. Dan will share his story of being mind controlled with you as well. But yeah, that's my Theories Thursday topic. Psychoelectronics.
It's kind of scary to think about.
Yeah.
Especially now that they're wanting to try to push Neuralink.
I don't want to get it now.
No.
Imagine if you get a virus, like an ad. Oh, you get Neuralink installed and you miss your $5.99 a month payment and they start playing ads now on your vision.
Oh, gosh.
It's like an ad pops up and then all of a sudden you get a virus and it's like, boop, 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 boop. You can't see anything. You got to go to a doctor and get your Neuralink wiped and reset.
Well,
Damn.
Neuralink allows you to control electronics and such, certain ones. So I guess you wouldn't see ads, but
still, I mean, that Neuralink is sending and receiving. It can act as a receiver. It's the same thing as this Stimo receiver that Jose Delgado created in the 1950s. Not the exact same, but it could serve the same purpose
with
easily.
Neuralink. With Neuralink, it controlling the computers and stuff, so you can actually do it. Like if you watch the video of the monkey with Neuralink playing the video games and such, they don't pay the subscription fee. It pretty much takes over your computer and start making you go to these different like survey sites and making you fill out surveys and such until you make enough to pay the subscription.
Damn it. It takes you over and makes you start working. Damn it. Aaron's over in China again working.
Why is Aaron IP over there? Oh,
you got the China work virus. Oh man. But yeah, that right there is my Theories Thursday topic, and that's all I got for it. It's scary, and it's coming to a future near you.
Oh, it's coming.
I think it might be already here.
I mean, Neuralink's already here, but
Maybe Elon made a deal with the government. Hey, I'm going to develop Neuralink. You push my stock. You help me become a billionaire, and I'll help you control the population.
so I was looking up, so the one thing I didn't know until probably a year ago is that the brain doesn't have any pain sensors. So all those times, say, what's that movie Saw, where the chick was working on the guy's brain or whatever, opening his skull.
He's like, ow.
I'm thinking that shouldn't hurt for one, and then messing with it. But then all these open brain surgeries where they have the patient still awake and everything.
Like playing the violin while they do that.
Yeah, and I'm just like, shouldn't that hurt? But no, I didn't know there were no pain sensors.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just thinking they're putting all these little sensors in there. Your brain doesn't really know that they're there, other than you just actually knowing, but they doesn't really feel it in there. So it's I don't know, I guess that little electric shock just does something.
Mm-hmm.
So weird.
It is.
The brain is so weird.
It is. The brain, oceans, and space.
But I was trying to see about Neuralink, how many little sensors they put into the brain.
Uh-huh.
And supposedly 3 months ago, which I'm trying to remember when I did the article on it about Neuralink.
It was a few months ago.
Supposedly, threads of Neuralink brain chip have retracted from human's brain. It's unclear what caused the retraction or how many threads have been displaced.
What?
So I'm guessing the Neuralink in the patient's head
is the main hub, and then they have I guess tentacles that go out of it.
Yeah, it's a bunch of wires and stuff that go into the brain in certain spots. They've been displaced. The brain kind of
it's not
pushed them out.
natural. The brain's probably what the hell is this?
Yeah,
Kick it out of my body. Yeah. Well,
one of the top comments, they stopped paying for the monthly subscription.
Yeah. See, this was gonna happen. They're gonna start charging you.
I'm not a brain doctor, but this doesn't sound good. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, now hearing that Neuralink doesn't sound so cool. I mean,
No.
Then again, we never really thought it sounded cool. It sounds to me, it's more like an invasion of privacy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure. If you want to look up answers or something like that really quickly, boom, you got it. But you got a
phone
there
that
they're watching you on anyways.
And they're tracking you everywhere you go with that too.
Yeah.
Just like how they were doing the brothers that created the device that tracked you.
Yeah.
And then it also monitored, well, not our neurological condition, but our sleep, our heart rate, pretty much all the medical stuff,
Yeah.
They have all that and they're tracking it everywhere.
I mean, your phone, it has 2 different types of GPSs, you could say.
And it's constantly doing that
face scanning
all the time.
Yeah, because you have the GPS tracker in this, but then you also have the IP tracker.
Mm-hmm.
And those are totally separate things in the phone. So you could change your IP, but your GPS location's always going to be 100% accurate. Well, not 100%, but pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Always know what you're watching too.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think you're on the, private tabs, you still know what you're watching. That just doesn't save the information.
Yeah. But with that being said, do you have anything else you want to talk about before we roll out today's episode?
No, I'm pretty good.
All right. Well,
pretty set.
I want to thank you for joining us today. And again, thank you for all of your support. I apologize for being gone the past 2 weeks, but there's one thing I learned in this life, and it's that.
Past week.
Past week, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that there's no rest for me. Perhaps in the next life.
No rest.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for your support. You are all amazing, every single one of you. I love you. I'm proud of you. And with that being said, Dan, you want to roll us out?
Sure will. It's okay to be out of this world with your thoughts.
Because you are not alone.
Boom.